Corey and I have been arguing about audio, and now we're starting the podcast.
We're not arguing. We are discussing with a lot of aggression.
Listen, I could care less about all this equipment. I just know it needs to work together. But Corey, for some odd reason, takes it as a personal injury when I say, hey, listen, it caught your breaths on the last one.
I'm a literal person. When someone says be 2 inches away from the microphone, my body will be 2 inches away. But Heather's like, when singers sing a real high note and they back off and they kind of close their eyes and look off into the distance, do that.
Here's the thing, like she wants to yell and then be shocked that
I don't know when the passion of marketing is going to take over my body. It just happens.
Let's hope that passion takes over right now with the podcast that we have. So you want to tell them what the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group is?
Yeah, welcome to the Baking It Down with Sugar Cookie Marketing Podcast. We're your hosts. We're actually twin sisters that have never actually left the womb. We've been together ever since negative day 9 months, and then we stuck together after that.
Question. I'm allowed to say this because I'm a twin. Okay. I don't think there should be twins. I think it's too hard for parents to manage.
Is that better?
Is it better than you? She learning. 252nd episode.
Twins is difficult. And being a twin, it's a
mind-boggling experience.
Mind-boggling experience. Because people treat you like you're the same exact person. Even my little sister on Saturday looked at me and she's like, is it weird being a twin? I said, what's crazy is I'm a twin to everybody else. I'm not a twin to myself because I don't see me. So Heather just looks like another sister. I don't know she looks like me. My eyeballs are always facing outwards. I said, but to everybody else, they're experiencing twindom because we look the same. But they're also treating us as the same person. You would never go up to a friend of yours in today's society and be like, you know what? I like Trisha better than I like you. But for whatever reason, when it comes to twins, someone will be like, I think I like Heather more.
I'm hearing the other version. That's my twin hot take. I think it was hard for my mom to be like, these are two individuals when she was drowning in kids. So it was like Ashley, the twins, Summer. Like
instead of saying Ashley, Heather, Corey, Summer, it was Ashley, the twins. And then me and Heather in our little dumbness would yell out, which one? And Mom said,
you know which one I meant. Oh, it was Corey. So that's my hot take. I once met a guy and he had twin daughters or something. And he's like, I'll never tell them which one is older. And I was like, that's weird. But maybe I kind of get it because he wanted them not to see a comparison of their birthdays.
I had a baking client once. I only was able to bake for her for 2 years. So I don't know if she gave this up or maybe she hated me. She ordered 2 different sets of cookies for her twins because she wanted them to have individual birthdays, even though they were on the same day.
See, I love that.
The investment, though, you would have to say,
it doubles your cost versus saying you two share a car. You two share a computer.
So I was like, wow. She was like, yeah, so this one, she really likes princesses and whichever. This one really is into the singer. So we did 2 separate orders, but she picked them up on the same day, gifts for the 2 kids. And I said, wow. I said, let me commend you as a twin myself.
Price anchoring, where you see one price and your mind anchors to it. That was like great anchoring. Like my mom would be like, Heather got this, so Corey, or like Corey made this cute, so Heather. And I was like, oh shoot, like there's no,
you were held to the higher
hard class. Yeah, it was always the outperforming twin held the anchor, and then the other twin by default was underperforming.
And unfortunately, Heather loved to have her nose in a book, so I was the runner-up.
I may not have been queen of the Boys Girls Club. I definitely could read a book. Okay, so we want to talk about what's coming, and I'll talk about it later in this podcast, but the AI collab is this week. The Cookies and Carrots class has just dropped, and the pre-sale bootcamp is now set up for purchase, but that will drop April 1st. The quote for today is, positioning is not what you do to a product. Positioning is what you do to the mind of the prospect. Jack Trout.
Yeah. So if you've never heard of us before, we are the Sugar Cookie Marketing Facebook group. This is just an arm of it. I told Heather one day that while I bake, I like to listen to things, and I can't necessarily log into the group and read because I have to be decorating, cleaning, talking to clients. So what I said is, let's just make this podcast. And how many years has it been? 5, 4, 5?
It's the 252nd episode. So 2, 5, somebody's doing this math in their head. 2, 5, 2 divided by 52. Boop. 4.8 years.
Oh my soul. So
Probably longer
almost
because we missed a few of these, so probably 5 years.
so 5 years we've been doing it, and we got some loyal listeners. I mean, they do not miss a beat. When we do not upload on a Tuesday, someone will be there in the sugar cookie marketing group being like, "No pod? What gives, huh?" But this is just what we see happening in the group is what we bring to your attention. Or as marketing ebbs and flows, maybe something that's in the news, something that's catching on, a new platform update. We like to bring it to your ear holes so it's something you can marinate on while you're doing all your orders for the week. And that is where,
Question.
sure.
What do you feel like the month and year were of the first episode?
Hold on, let me think. I want to say it was a summer month.
Wrong. It's actually
It
this month,
Oh, it was a spring month.
a spring month.
Was it March?
It was March this month.
And at the day,
Can you?
the 8th.
The 21st in the year.
2021,
Uh-huh.
2,
No.
1.
2021. Can you guess what the first episode is intro that always plays,
It
unfortunately.
was horrendous.
The second episode was filmed the same day. What was our first ever topic?
How to get clients.
Should you have a Facebook page?
Oh, I like that. That was a good starter one.
The answer was
It,
yes, guys, if you're wondering.
it was a horrible episode because we were reading it. And now we realize people don't like to just hear someone monotonously reading off of a piece of paper.
Yes. Now you guys can hear us. Yep. Okay. So talking about today's podcast topic, I was thinking about it a lot having moved this week. A company that keeps showing up for me in ads and recommendations from other people and then on anonymous forums is a company called Quince. The wild part is my family hadn't heard of it. So Gams and my aunt, we call Aunt Deed, Gams being our grandmother. They were asking about like, oh, what did you purchase? And I was like, oh, I purchased this stuff from Quince. Well, where'd you hear about it? It's so funny. Ashley recommended it, but I seen ads about it. Well, how did Ashley find it? She found a UGC content creator who had a like to know it, and all the stuff was from this company called Quince. So you go to Quince and it is like a marketplace, but the only person selling is Quince, but they sell just about every home good type thing from linens and fabrics. That's what I purchased, bedding, to now clothes and now jewelry and purses. And it seems to be ever expanding.
So is it a sheen of sorts?
No, and that's the caveat is Quince is the only seller, but it sources its stuff from the same manufacturing companies that high-end companies sell. So specifically competing with West Elm and Pottery Barn.
What the clothing is throwing me. How does clothing, come into that equation?
It's saying like staple pieces that will last forever.
Oh, so staple pieces in your life. So it can be a table, can be a pair of pants.
Yes. And the pants, I've always had this one pair of their pants in my cart. Never ordered it. Don't know why. I've been carting these things around for years. However, I did order their bedding because I wanted to recreate this girl's like comfy looking bed. And I was wildly impressed with not only the quality, the price was lower than Pottery Barn and West Elm, but it wasn't cheap, right? It was like that was what you'd spend there, but $100 off. In fact, they've gotten sued for this. Their ad says, "Do you want this?" It's exactly what Pottery Barn sells, but $100 cheaper.
Interesting. Here's my thought behind not ordering the pants. Usually when a company says they're good at something and they do it really well, you're like, I'm really the housing stuff, like my, linens and the furniture. But when someone's like, and we make
Jack of all trades, master
a
none.
shoe. Yeah, you're like, I don't know about that one though.
But okay, having now tasted of their
I know. Would you
linens,
buy a
I would.
pantaloon?
I would buy it with more confidence now, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so Quince, when you go to their website and order anything, their positioning. So again, there's a branding. It's what it looks like. So they use the fancy handwriting, and it's got like the terracotta colors and the purples and the whatever.
Yeah.
That's branding. Then you've got your value proposition. So they're better quality for less, right? That's a value proposition. But the positioning, and this is the key of this entire podcast, is what I think about them. The real estate in the consumer's mind, right? So you can do all of this plays together. It's all part of the marketing focus thing, right? But in this niche that we're talking about today, it's positioning. So Quince's positions itself as luxury essentials at radically lower prices. They really like that word radically.
Oh, that's so funny. What's so funny about positioning is you can say whatever you want to about your brand. What the customer thinks about it is going to be the end all be all. So they might have said, radical discount, but the same quality. And maybe a few people have gotten it and said, you know what, this is not good quality. This is sheen quality. And now their new thing is their positioning is big fat liars.
Well, I think it's very interesting. In this one sentence you just said, you told us what your positioning with Shein is: cheap, fast, worthless.
Yes.
That is how it's positioned. You has whether or not you can find some quality products in their inadvertent marketing and how you've imbibed it has positioned them as not worth ordering from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Derogatory.
Yes.
But some people love Shein. They love the deals. They love the fast fashion, the throwaway pieces. Now, Quinn says we're absolutely not that. That's positioning in your head. Now, I've experienced them, right? So I ordered them. Of course, I didn't know you couldn't order stuff across country lines. I got caught up in FedEx, got with customs. I had to declare a bird type or something. But I said, okay, let me talk to Quince's support. And I was like, this is going to suck. No, you could text in. Somebody replied immediately through text message, wrapped it up, figured it all out. The next morning, everything was solved. So now I'm like, not only is it luxury essentials at radically lower prices, but it's with fantastic customer service in my head. Then I regurgitate that to Gams and Deet and you. Now I'm on
Yeah.
a podcast talking about it.
Yeah.
So you see that positioning can be really powerful because Corey just dragged Shein and then we just promoted Quinn. So it says they disrupt retail by offering high-end goods like cashmere, silk, and linens direct from factories to consumers. By eliminating middlemen and retail markups, they target the value-conscious shopper, so that's their target, which we'll talk about in a minute, looking for affordable luxury. That's what they provide, and dupes of higher-priced items, emphasizing quality at a fraction of the cost. That is their entire positioning. And I say that's what they want me to think, and that's been my experience. It is now what I think.
Yes. You
So
are now a true believer.
they have really dialed in their positioning within my target. Maybe they have other targets, but within the target that I'm getting remarketed to, they're hitting there. And now in my mental real estate, that is where they exist. So job well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys may be lost here, but I made a list of mental real estate and let's see if Corey can peg it to the brand.
Okay.
This isn't branding. This is positioning, right? Who is positioned in your head as a safe car manufacturer?
Volvo or Subaru?
Volvo is the one
Yeah.
that we have written down here. Uh, customer service chicken.
Chick-fil-A.
Why'd you pick it? That's what I have written. So
My pleasure. They're always willing to make it
my
right.
pleasure.
They're fast.
Because there's a lot of fast food chicken,
Yeah.
KFC, Popeyes, but customer service chicken, we think of Chick-fil-A. I don't think of Popeyes as having a great customer experience.
No,
Love their
I've
chicken.
I've sat in a Popeyes drive-through for 45 minutes and I've
I've sat in
never
a
sat.
Popeyes drive-through and they ran out of chicken.
Yeah, I've never sat in
Okay.
a Chick-fil-A line longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, customer service. Yeah, Gams, I'll take her to Chick-fil-A and she'll always be like, the line's through the street, head. Do we sure we want to go? I said, we'll be through this in 2 minutes. And
I
then
know.
halfway through, well, they're just chucking us through the line. Gams are like, I just had to say it again. They're so amazing how quickly they move us. And that's positioning in her head. In her
Yeah.
head, if I want chicken and I want it quickly with a customer service spin, I'll go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Everyday products at lower costs.
Walmart.
Yes.
Nice. Nice.
I'll tell you guys, in my 20s, I didn't live by Walmart. I lived by a Wegmans. I mean, within not even a stone's throw of sarcasm, I could throw a stone at the building and it would hit it.
Yeah.
And I don't even have good aim. That's how close we were. And I would go there so much that people would say, do you work here? No, I just, a huge fan. Then I moved from the Wegmans. That was really inconvenient for me to go to Wegmans. So it was more convenient for me to go to Walmart. What have I been doing with my life? Walmart's so much cheaper.
What's so crazy about Walmart is it is everyday lower prices. Customer service is non-existent. So you do go
You
there
go
with
to
the
Walmart and you self-guide.
yeah,
It is one inclusive experience.
you better not be needing help with nothing.
I like being so consistent at a Walmart that they kind of know me there.
My
They're kind of
Walmart in my area is so big and so many people go there, they'll never know you. They will not know you.
there.
Yeah.
There's two. I moved, and I have access to two Walmarts. One light up, one 20 minutes away. So I went to the 20-minute away one because greed got the best of me. Patooey, give me back to this this
Oh,
one.
funny, funny.
Okay. Quick oil changes.
Jiffy
That's a lot because I never ever been, but I know exactly. Have
You
you ever
know,
been?
1 bazillion years ago, but every time I drive by, I'm like, yeah, they were pretty quick at it. But that's their positioning in their marketing. You get in, get out, get an oil change.
Ruth Ann went the other day and I was a massive fan of them. Judgment free gym.
That would be Planet Fitness.
Hmm. Judge full gym. Full
It's
gym.
full, chock full of people dead.
Gas. This was interesting because I wrote this one myself. The other ones I Googled. Gas with great convenience store.
It's either Wawa or Sheets. Both sell hoagies inside.
I prefer Sheets myself because I feel like their store's bigger.
Oh,
I
really?
also feel like their bathrooms are cleaner, but I know it's hit or miss.
I do think Sheets has more stalls.
Yes. They also have those really warped mirrors that make me look thin.
I
Like where
know.
it's
Or
bent. Like,
the other
oh
way.
God,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna get them compliments walking out to my car. Quick hamburgers.
McDonald's,
McDonald's
McD's.
quality groceries.
I would say either Wegmans for quality, but if you're like talking health, Whole Foods.
Oh, that should have done that one. Healthy groceries, Whole Foods. The
Yeah.
interesting thing is, people listening who are trying to play this game as well, if you don't have these stores in your area, that company didn't fight to position itself because it doesn't care. It doesn't need to.
But you've probably thought of some place near
Yes.
you that has fought for that, and that would be
Consider
correcting
the
yours.
multiple companies trying to fight for that real estate and why you said one first, why you thought one first. Streaming service.
I say Netflix.
And I think that one is because it was first to market for so long.
Yeah, it
Now my
was.
default is I'll always see if it's on Netflix, which it never is now. And then I'll have to go figure out where it is.
I know. I think Netflix has lost some of the edge and they've allowed other ones to come up. And now you can have whole shows on a different streaming service, so it makes it difficult. Usually
Because
Netflix is
now the
where I go to find
shows
everything.
became like
Yes.
trading players on the NFL.
Yes.
Like when The Office left Netflix and moved to what, Peacock or something? Whatever.
To me, Netflix was like a conglomerate that they took shows from everywhere and put them in one spot. But now you have like HBO Max has its own shows on there that Netflix will never have access to. So I
Yeah,
think it's
HBO Max is never gonna. Prime will be
yeah.
like you can buy it through us, but you have to go watch it over there. Like, oh, another
Yeah.
step. Uh, best dating app.
Okay, I haven't been on a dating app, but I love to hear people's dating stories, and they're always on Hinge.
Same. Haven't been on a dating app, but Hinge was the first that came to mind. So, but it's funny if you had asked somebody maybe 5 years ago, I think they would have all said Tinder, which has now
Oh
lost
yeah.
its mental real estate and has become the hookup app.
I'll be honest that I couldn't even remember the word Tinder in my brain.
Crazy because I think it was, but like when I was 19, I think everyone was on eHarmony, and that one.
They were on Plenty of Fish, girl.
Oh
We ain't
yeah.
got that kind of money.
But you remember eHarmony had just like this just hold on the market. I think it was first to
eHarmony
market.
was like, "Are you done with Plenty of Fish? We're here to match you with your beloved."
I think that you remember when I haven't been on any. I did think I made a Match.com profile when I was 19, but just to like this was before swiping, swipe or no swiping.
Yeah.
But now, okay, like eHarmony was like, you remember we got a friend named Ashley to fill it out. It was like
Yes.
50 billion questions.
Yeah. It was 1 million
Yeah,
questions. So you'd
and
be
it was
like,
supposed to
by
be
the end
that
of this,
whoever you match with is going to be the love of your life.
yes.
Now you got this like swipey thing, and it's just like here's a couple pictures of myself, here's catchphase,
And people are
voicemail.
it's almost like marketing strategic. Whereas eHarmony's like, let's get you to know you, so then the future other person knows who you are as well.
Uh-huh.
Like eHarmony was asking heavy hitting
I
questions that
know.
you might have not ever asked yourself, and you're like, wow, I'm coming to grips to know myself here. Whereas I think like those swipey, no swipey ones are like, what's your best looking picture and tagline, and
I
like
know.
hopefully it catches someone in two
Do you
seconds.
just feel like the eHarmony would be a better purchase? But I don't know. Obviously not because it's lost its market share. You said Hinge.
I guess it's just the one that the young people are talking about. Maybe it's the low buy-in. I think eHarmony had a high price
Oh, I
buy-in.
think you might be right. It might,
Yeah, I
I
don't
might
know.
have
Is
paid for it.
Hinge free or is it not free? I don't know.
You're not clear. Okay, if I say the word social media, who has that mental real estate for you?
I say Facebook Meta to me
Uh-huh.
in my
Yeah.
37th year of age.
And it's also where Sugar Cookie Marketing Group exists. So I think that's why it's a heavy hitter in this mental real estate. It
Yeah, but I
appeals
will
to
say
me.
that I spend a lot of time on TikTok. It has not been around as long, so maybe that's why my brain isn't tied to it.
Yeah, I wonder. TikTok seems more informative to me. I use Facebook mostly for the groups.
Yeah.
Fast car wash.
Flagship.
And that is hyper local does. I don't know. It just kind of swept in the past couple of years and bought up all the other car washes.
It did. I don't know. It's now a huge conglomerate.
Yeah.
And if I
That's
see a car wash that isn't Flagship, I'm like, I don't think you're long for this world, friend.
I think flagship's coming for you to buy you
Yeah, I think they're gonna
specifically.
buy it.
So that's my example. So, okay, remember back to what this is. Positioning is what the real estate in Corey's head was earned by these companies, right? So a lot of these, some of these you'll be like, oh, I was going to say Volvo too, which she also said Subaru. So somehow Subaru, it's what makes a Subaru, Subaru is finding that positioning within your head as well. So, right. Positioning is that it takes a while to change a positioning within the client's head,
Yeah.
but I really like it. So Quince's website, I went to it and it said, this is on their about page. We started Quince to challenge the existing idea that nice things have to cost a lot. Our mission was simple, create products that equal or greater quality than leading luxury brands at a much lower price because we believe quality should never be a luxury. That messaging, so that's a messaging. That's what they're telling us, right? It's just everywhere in their website. And the big takeaways is it's quality, luxury, cost less.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what they're doing. Now, in my head, they're growing their market share there because I thought the other day, oh, you know what? I moved to this house. I actually don't own silverware. I should check to see if Quince has it.
Because now what's great about positioning and also bad about positioning is you can advertise and market yourself in some way, but how your audience digests you, it's something you don't have control over. So if Quince said, great quality stuff at a low price, Heather buys it and it's not quality, but it was a low price. They have worked against their whole marketing team. And now Heather has super adverse, whether she ordered from Shein, which is known for its low quality, but cheap prices, and maybe she gets something that's low quality and cheap. They came right in at where they promised.
I want to be honest. The pricing of Quince is nowhere. Like, don't log on and think that you're going to see anything Shein at all. Like, it was like considerably not cheap, but it definitely wasn't as much as West Elm. Had I had this issue with customs and I didn't realize the package was coming across the state or border, had Quince, FedEx was like, if you don't get back to us, we're shipping it back to Quince and you'll never get this order again. Had Quince not helped me with the support side, I would have said, okay, you're luxury for less at the cost of support.
Yes. Yeah.
Then I said
Yeah.
I'd never buy from them again if I did not get this package because of this issue. Because I did buy the thing 3 weeks ago and it's gotten hung up for so long. However, their text chat was available 24/7. I immediately got a response, which surprised me, and it was resolved by the time I woke up the next morning.
Yeah, it's funny how your messaging can work for or against you if you don't hold up your end of the bargain.
Right. I can tell you fast burgers and Corey thinks McDonald's, but if I said quality burgers, she's not
I
going
would
to say it.
say probably a sit downer restaurant with
You would have
with your
said
good.
that Bobby Flay's, right?
Oh, that
Burger,
would
what
have
was it
been it.
called?
Burger Palace.
Burger Palace was great. I really liked, what was the one we went to during COVID? It was the only place that was open. You had to pick it up and leave.
Oh, what is that?
Burger joint.
Burger joint. Burger joint. Yeah, that was really good.
Great burgers. Great burgers. So here's what I want to talk about. What is positioning? So now we kind of talked about in theory of it. Quince has the example because I was wildly impressed with him. It's been on my mind how it was like really nicely packaged. Each of their linens comes in a bag that matches. I got all these emails as soon as I bought on how to care for it. Okay, great. And then all these, if you leave a review, we'll give you a discount. Okay. So they're leaning heavily on this leave consumer reviews to gain more market share.
Yeah.
But I think they kind of earned it. So what is positioning? Positioning in marketing is the strategic process of shaping how the target customer perceives the brand or product as it's related to competitors, aiming to establish a unique, memorable, and desirable place in their minds. So you see, this is all what, focus on me, buddy. This is all what the consumer perceives of the brand.
It's almost the final bastion of marketing. You've done your marketing post, you've said what makes you different, you've done the whole order, and now it's whatever lies in the hands of the customers, the cookies in their hands, and now their thoughts about you.
Like mind control, like how close can I get to a brain that you think exactly what I want you to think? However, along the line is it doesn't matter how much all these pieces are great, fantastic. If something doesn't align, that consumer will, in your mind, position you in a different place. I think
Yes.
you can have a fantastic everything and have one snafu and that positioning in their mind will be like, oh,
Oh, you
no.
can have a client that's ordered from you for years and years and years and years, and then you mess up maybe big time on an order, and the final thought they have about you on their final order, because they're never going to ever think of you for another order, will be the negative one.
When I worked for a company, they had a lot of meetings that I thought were a bit pointless. Okay, I thought we could have done them through an email, but whatever. They wanted the meetings, so the meetings were all over this. We're in the DMV, so it's 3 states. They were all over the 3 states. It was never just one place.
Yes.
So one of the meetings was about an hour away in traffic, right? So it's kind of hard to predict it during rush hour. They obviously scheduled then, and I showed up late to like three of them. Probably like by late I mean like 5 minutes. Enough to send the apology and say, sorry, guys, traffic was crazy, but not enough to be like, that person is disrespectful, right? That said, the counterpart, the marketer from Maryland, always called me late.
Yeah.
She always said, oh, there's Heather. She's late. I came late 3 times. It took 20 not late for me to reposition in her head that I wasn't a
It's
late person.
it's hard to reposition someone's opinions about something. So someone will have a lot of good experience with, let's say, Krispy Kreme donuts, and then one day they'll
Are you on your
order
Krispy Kreme kick again? Is that why you brought that up?
because I found my gift card that Arch gave me.
Oh, yeah. Was that your birthday?
Yeah. So you can have a lot of good experiences with the company, but the last bad one can be the only one that they remember. You have to think about how often will Heather order from Quince. You probably don't need bedroom furniture very often. I hope not.
Just running through Bedford.
Yeah. So the bigger the purchases, let's say if you are a baker that specializes in solely wedding cakes, we're hoping these people aren't getting married multiple times, but as someone who's been married
Yeah.
twice, it
And just there
happens.
for a reason, lady.
But you have that one experience with them where your messaging has to match their positioning of you so you can continue to grow so that they spread good news about you instead of being like, don't buy from so and so, they're horrendous.
Right. So the positioning is hard to control because it's out of our hands.
Yeah.
We can do the best job if you don't stick the landing one time. Does it cost it? Do you have to earn it back? Does Quince, again, the order wasn't without its faults. But I'm a huge fan because of how the faults were handled. So
Yeah.
even though the order didn't go well, it didn't go according to plan at all. I was delayed by 3 entire weeks. I was still a huge fan because of how it was handled.
Well,
Sorry.
that's fantastic on their end and for your end that you're still a big believer, even though there was a snafu in it. And I wish everyone was able to give a company that, benefit of the doubt,
Grace.
that grace. And as much as bakers are like, I mess up, I'm human. I mean, bakers are still lambasting suppliers online all the time. So it's not like a return favor.
No. And it's so funny. People do as I say, not as I do. Uh, I would be able to at one point say that Amazon's 2 day shipping, they almost beat it by shipping it in a day, but I can no longer say that. So they gained a lot of market share through that positioning of, you have access to more things, you have access to faster shipping if you pay for Prime, but now there's a lawsuit against that Prime thing,
Yeah.
or was it there? I'm not sure if it was on the shipping. However, shipping's a part of it that you pay for 2 day shipping, but you're lucky if you see it in a week, which is
Yeah.
actually a normal state of shipping. Now, the issue is positioning in people's head around shipping times has been altered so greatly by Amazon that when your shipping is actually a normal 5 to 7 days, people are like, where was this? Did it get lost in the abyss? Why didn't I get
Yeah.
it?
It was so funny. I ordered something like a body oil or lotion something
From
yesterday, and it was like,
whom?
huh?
From
I don't
whom?
know. We'll just see. It was supposed to like add
For
probiotics to your
what?
skin or whatever. I just saw a video and it caught me. And when I got to the shipping, it said 5 to 10 business days. And I was like, whoa, I'll never get this. I'll be old by the time I get it.
Same with free shipping because Prime makes you feel like shipping's free.
I
Yeah, sure, it's
know.
probably baked into the price, but it makes you feel that way. And now when shipping is paid, I'm like, oh,
But their
$5.
messaging was for the longest time, get it in 2 days or less. And because they had to, I don't know, stop that, or it's not guaranteed anymore, they've lost a lot of the foothold. And now people are like, ooh, Amazon, even though they could have given you 200 items in 2 days, in 2 million days,
They
that
ordered
they
for Core Skincare Company.
that they switched it up. Now you have an adverse positioning in your brain about Amazon shipping because they have changed it.
The buzzword for the opposite of positioning is depositioning. You would
Yeah.
deposition your competitors while you position yourself. But it's almost like Amazon has depositioned itself against itself. So we were always like, 2 day shipping, this is so great. And then we're like, oh, it's 5 days. All right, I'll go somewhere else. At this point, I have access to anything. So there's types of positioning as you kind of think through this, and we'll end up on the positioning formula, which I already forced Corey to work through earlier today. She said this is good for people. Types of positioning, price-based positioning, emphasizing high quality and affordable cost. That was from a Google search, but Quince fits right in there. High quality, lower cost.
I will say it's a little bit harder in a baking realm, high quality, low cost, because we know high quality means extra time. So, Quince may have the stuff in storage ready to roll and they can pull it off the shelf, send it to you. Whereas we think bakers, what fast, good, fast, cheap. Choose two of the three. Which one is it?
Here's the thing. Quince, I believe one of their ads told me what they made off the sale of the purchase because they said radical transparency. They really like the radical world word. So they still said, we will make a profit off you, but here's how much that is. Like,
Interesting.
interesting transparency, but awesome trust building. Because I know
Yeah.
everyone's got to get theirs, but they're like, but we're not paying. And they were like, because we eliminate the middleman.
Yeah.
So kind of a concept there too. You could be price based. Of course, say I don't want to argue on price, but she wants to argue on a quality positioning, which is the next one: quality or premium positioning, highlighting superior craftsmanship or luxury to justify high costs. And their example is Apple. So
Yeah.
Apple's like, hey, it ain't cheap, but it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It ain't cheap, but you're going to be able to zoom in on the surface of the moon. But you always see now the positioning is that Apple cameras are better than Android. And then the Android people are like, ours are fine and we don't need yours. Get your overpriced crap away from me, you know?
Yeah, but
Apple.
the number one purchased phone brand is Apple.
My mom has always had a Mac computer. I cannot help her with it. I've never had a Mac computer. I don't have an iPhone. I literally all I'm doing is Googling what they could Google if they had their own
We
problems,
like
right?
when your hands Google it, though.
Do I type it better than you?
Yeah.
So she wanted to switch. She said, Head, I want to switch to Microsoft, Dell, Windows. She wanted to switch to a Windows computer. So I was super nervous because I was like, I'm a huge fan of Dell computers, but I'm not sure if you will think it's the same quality. So every week I go and I say, how do you like the new computer? I love it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So now you can see that Apple was seen as like Dell's trash or all these other ones are trash. And then now you can kind of see the market share shifting a little bit. Android technology is catching up. You have the Google technology on their phones, which everyone is a huge fan of. And now Apple has kind of felt stagnant.
Well, Apple, if they say extended battery life on a new phone one more gosh darn time, and that phone does not extend for the rest of its life, stop making it a sales point.
But for a long time, Apple's entire positioning that it was just a higher quality product, which
Yeah.
I'd agree with up until now. But even then, it's still in my head that it's probably a nicer phone. I got it. You're not going to see me fighting for the reputation of Android Apple person. But I think quality and premium positioning. But Corey said, she's like, well, I wouldn't want to fight on price based, but you actually do because you say that our cookie classes are a lot cheaper than down the street.
Different because there's a different, time in. Prepping a class is a different thing than bending over the same custom set for 2 hours. So I will say classes, yes. Customs, no.
No, but in your pre-sale, you said I baked in a loss leader, a smaller cookie that you thought people would be interested in because it was cheaper priced.
Cheaper priced, easier
Cheap.
design.
Mm-hmm. So it's just interesting that you can have, and remember, positioning is delegated to a target audience. You can have multiple target segmentations in there. So I'm never going to buy jewelry or purses from Quince. I just don't need it. I'm not a huge into jewelry. So they don't need to worry about what that positioning is for me.
Yeah, sure. Because you're not there. Think of the grocery stores. If you're unfamiliar with Whole Foods has, you'll never guess, Whole Foods. It's more of a organic, natural, you're not going to find like a Coca-Cola product there because
But again,
they're
dude, you're
leaning,
not finding ranch dressing, even if you want to find this.
because what they're doing is leaning towards the segment of the audience who wants wholer foods in their diet. So if you like Coca-Cola, you are no longer in Whole Foods value proposition.
Right.
They don't want you. They are now competing with people who might go to a Trader Joe's or a Wegmans. And how can they get you into Whole Foods? Because we know Wegmans does natural food dyes now. So they kind of are trying to edge into Whole Foods. So what is going to make Whole Foods? They are pricier, but you can find no
I
GMO
find
there.
when I go to Whole Foods, I do call it positioned. I do believe it's food. It's fresher. I don't know. The peppers last longer in the fridge. When I go to the Whole Foods they just built in Springfield, Virginia, it's their like newest one. As soon as you walk in, you're met with way too much fruit at the front door. Right to your left is way too close to the front door. Flowers, fresh flowers.
Yeah.
And then oddly, right in the walkway where you wouldn't want to be is all these soap bars. They smell amazing. They're all natural soap bars. I'm not a soap bar girly, but I do stop and smell it. All those three things when I walk in scream, this stuff is fresh.
Yes.
Right. If you had rotting food, Safeway, you'd put it off to the left in the back, you know? And if you had flowers that didn't turn over, you'd try to not put them up front. But I think Whole Foods is like, listen, we're going to show you just how fresh this is by positioning, literally, physically, these things at the front. You can see that the rest of the store will follow this.
Yeah, so you're going to see as you think about your bakery's positioning, you might be heavy into using an Eddie printed cookie, and then maybe your positioning can be either fast turnaround or a cheaper price, depending on how you build that. If you're more of a customs focused person, you could have a positioning that you do higher end designs for weddings and things like that. Do you see
Mhm.
how we're now shrinking, but we're pinpointing who we're talking to?
Exactly. Because you find, I think it would be hard to have the same positioning to a wedding cake client and a smash cake client. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
great to serve to friends or shove your face into it. Like it would be hard to do that.
Fistfuls in your hand.
If your husband's shoving it in, or your kid's shoving it in. Application and use positioning, associating a product with a specific frequent usage scenario. You have any ideas?
Say that one more time.
So, application or use positioning, associating a product with specific frequent usage scenario. One that red light therapy, any skincare brand, it's
Oh
really
yeah.
saying Olaplex. I was listening to kind of a rise and fall of Olaplex.
Yeah.
Olaplex isn't that old, but it's technology around
Yeah.
bond
You know
repair.
what? Because they didn't explain it. They did not explain it.
They said the lawsuit that Olaplex caused balding. The
Yes.
lawsuit was thrown out. It had no merit, but it caused such a
It
depositioning in the
did.
market this here I am buying this overpriced shampoo
Yeah.
so I can get more hair. And you're telling me I risk losing it all?
There was a seven-step program that no
You
one
were big
informed
into
me.
Olaplex.
But then I'm like, why do I have this? What do these do? And where do I use them? At what point in this thing? There was no knowledge base behind it. So I wanted to be a believer, and then I'm left with these weird products. And I know how to use shampoo because that was drilled into me from a young age. But how do I use the Oil Bonder 5000?
You
No
know
one
what I used today? The Oil Bonder 5000 you gave me. You're cast off.
And now I don't buy Olaplex anymore.
Right. And nobody does. Their IPO was it was valued at something $1 billion. And now I think it's seen at 90% market share loss or something with the
Wow.
documentary saying.
Wow.
That's my twintellect guys, if you wanted to hear it there. But positioning. So associating a product when Olaplex kind of, I hate to say it, kind of aligned with like TikTok or something, wherever all these UGC creators are like, look at my hair, it's so strong. And I'm like, give me more. Who doesn't want nice, full, strong hair?
Sign me up.
Get it away from me. Don't I want the bald spot. Uh, User group positioning, tailoring a brand specifically for a defined demographic or interest group. So it said like Johnson and Johnson, you think baby powder, right? Baby
Yes.
products. So when you say that's a great position because I don't have a kid, but I would say like Johnson and Johnson. If I said coffee, what do you think of?
Starbs, I guess.
Right. So, but now you see people want to take Starbucks market share by saying, well, we're different. I was reading that just a quick like documentary on coffee shops and why they went to that industrial look.
Yeah.
Initially is because they couldn't afford it. So an industrial is an unfinished area.
Yeah, it's spray
Exposed
painted
pipe.
ceiling up there.
But they said then it became kind of the trend. So you were the best coffee shop if you were an industrial. And then it went from that being cheap to that being expensive. So now they said then they went to this super clean white space, like and it felt like, ooh. Then they said now they want this like fusion. And he was referencing some coffee shop that started that's in a surf shop where community is
Interesting.
built over coffee rather than
Oh.
this like my custom weta. So it's
I
just
need
interesting.
I need any sweet frog to find a partner in one cleaning product.
Sweet frogs like
I
liquid.
need the yogurt to not
Okay.
be dry to the well.
Do you want overpriced yogurt? But you get to pick your own toppings.
Do you want to sit next to someone's old yogurt on the wall while
Do
you eat your
you
new
want to
yogurt?
know where COVID started? It was in a sweet frog. I think and that's the issue with franchising. And if you ever want to go down the pipeline of Panera franchising and how they had to buy it all back,
Dairy Queen
Dairy
franchising.
Queen franchising, IHOP franchising.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, no.
This is just interesting that at one point these places were IHOP, the International House of Pancakes. If you
Yeah.
said pancakes, you went to IHOP, and now we're like, ugh.
Now, Nate took me to IHOP last week and he's like, which one do you go to? I said, the good one. Like, because there's a good one and a bad one.
The bad one is the secret one. It used to be the good one.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and then the last one is competitive positioning. And this is the one where you can directly compare product to the products benefits to the rivals and higher superiority. And Quince is doing that in those ads where it's now facing a lawsuit because it said, West Elm, we're cheaper than them. Look at this product. It's the same. We just bought it from the
Yeah.
same place.
Yeah.
But that did motivate me because our older sister does not want a deal. That
She's not
girl
a
loves
woman
to
of
pay
deal.
full price.
Yeah.
She was like, "Do you want some of my furniture?" And I said yes, knowing it'll be high quality furniture. Her cast
Yeah,
out.
no, you're not going to get it. But that's the type of person she is. She's a buyer that doesn't want to question anything. But if it doesn't have a name brand, she thinks the quality is now at risk.
So
She's
somewhere along
unwilling.
her line is that higher quality and higher price are very correlated, and there's
Yeah.
no compromise there.
When you're now as a baker thinking about this and you're like, there are bakers who come through, who start up and they think they can be the better priced baker. It is what everyone has to go through. You find that when you price your stuff cheaper, you get burnt out really fast because it's a time in game. We have just two hands and 24 hours, and the sets are difficult, the colors, the lettering. So you can see that a lot of bakers will try to come out and break through and say, I'm the best priced baker. That's my positioning. I'm the better priced baker. I'm cheaper. I'm better. And it always kind of, the industry does level it out there because you can only be so cheaper before everyone's booking with you and now you're burnt out and you're not seeing the benefits of taking all these orders because you're so tired.
Right. It's like the gas station by Ruth Ann's house. If
Yeah.
I posted in the Northern Virginia subreddit and I said, where's the cheapest gas? I'll almost bet to you about 60% of people would say that gas station, but
Yes.
it's a horrible experience,
It's
right?
horrendous in all regards.
In every regard, it's the worst except for its price. So you see that the compromise of price was everything else about getting gas. Whereas if I said great convenience store, I'd say Sheets, but I know I'm paying a premium.
Yeah.
But that I would
So,
never, not even, it doesn't have a bathroom, but if it did, the cheap gas station, you'd never see me touch it.
oh,
You never
no
see me there.
way. No
The
way.
handles are disgusting. So the handles of the gas pump are disgusting.
Yeah. I
And
could
yes, I
only
do judge
imagine.
handle cleanliness. That place would have the worst bathroom in the world, but the cheap price would be there.
So you can see that it doesn't necessarily always work for the baker world to say cheaper pricing when you're making something that's handmade, custom made
Well, here's the thing.
because of the time.
Quince is like, we're not the cheapest. We're just slightly cheaper with
Cheaper.
uncompromising quality. And that's a position that's kind of hard to explain to your audience. And it wouldn't necessarily be as on the nose as Quince is about that. But, it's just out there. Like Corey and I think our cookie classes are very high quality. However, we're still $30 cheaper than that next place.
Yeah, but then we are also more expensive than somebody else down the road. So
Absolutely. So
yeah,
there's some, you can see that we're cheaper, but we're not the cheapest. So I
yeah,
think there's some elbow room there. So this is the positioning formula. And I had Corey work through it. So she already stuttered through this. So that's why she's going to sound smooth.
yes.
What is your target audience with your bakery?
Pretty much, I would say 90% is moms,
Moms
mothers.
at what age?
Moms probably around between 30 and 50 buying for children.
Okay. Okay. Or teens if they're in their 50s. The
Yeah,
twin
children.
mom, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. For moms between 30 and 50, Mixing Bowl Cooking Company brand name is in the category, which is Corey says cottage bakery. That the point of differentiation. What did you think your point of differentiation would be?
So this is hard because I don't think I've ever sat down and thought what differentiates me from the person down the road, but I think it's my ability to be flexible with whatever design, event, thing. So I can do high-end stuff. I can do the fun stuff. I can do the weird stuff.
I
So
do
like
believe you
flexibility.
are flexible in your own boundaries on booked.
I
Haven't
am. And
haven't
but
even heard your grumblings.
that's also confusing for my audience because I have a calendar that says booked, but then if you know me personally and get around my calendar and send me an email, I'm probably going to say yes to you. So
Right.
I
So
can't even use that.
flexibility in all aspects.
Yeah.
Because, and what's their reason to believe? So it's for target audience. Brand name is the category, that point of differentiation because, and so let's put those in for you. So for moms in their 30s to 50s, Mixing Bowl Cookie Company is a cottage baker. That is really flexible because,
I have the flexibility in my schedule. I work from home. My kid is now a self-licking ice cream cone. I don't have little ones. My husband's understanding. So I have the flexibility in my time.
okay, that's for you. Now, this one says the reason for them to believe
For them to
because
believe
she
it's
can
because I'm
relate
never
to.
telling them no. I'm
Oh.
never saying no.
So Corey's the Anne heard no cottage baker.
I'm going to squeak out some sort of yes. It might not be the
Okay.
yes you wanted, but it'll be the yes you get.
When, and I think another way to kind of reverse engineer this if you're struggling through it. So let me just go through it one more time. For insert your target audience here. So Corey said her target audience for this positioning is moms between 30 and 50 years old, right? With kids. Brand name, Corey, Mixing Bowl Cookie Company, is the category, cottage baker. That point of differentiation is really flexible because she has the ability to work around her client schedules. So, do you think this is the reverse engineering? What do you think your client, who is a 30-year-old mom, thinks of you? What do you think that mental real estate is for them? When
They
I tell
do,
them Mixing Bowl Cookie Company,
I do
they,
not think they think flexibility
okay,
because I don't use that in any form of my marketing. It's almost a secret. So I
okay,
think they just think really consistent designs. So I don't think I have a really money maker positioning. My bad.
muddled.
muddled, muddled for sure. I'm not known as the last minute baker anymore, but I started my business off as that to really kind of grow it. Consistent designs, but there's a lot of bakers who do consistent designs.
Okay, so we're
Um,
not very differentiated.
yeah, so I would say that's a point that I need to work on because what was funny is I did a pre-sale this weekend and the people who came in for my pre-sale, three of them said, "You're just so witty on your Facebook page." I appreciate
Okay,
that,
well,
but
three
that's
people of them, three of them think that you are conversational, you're entertaining.
so I thought maybe
Okay.
approachable would be a good way, but is that to me, is that a strong positioning?
Do you think you would be more apt to buy from a company that was friendlier than not?
Yes, for me personally, yeah.
Okay, so then it is a positioning,
I
a
just don't
placing.
think it's a strong one. A strong one.
So, how could you firm up that positioning in the rest of your market? If I want to be positioned as the approachable, friendly baker, what would need to change in my marketing, my branding, my marketing, my value proposition?
I think if that was my position to become approachable, more approachable,
Hmm.
I think I would really have to nail down my return responses, make sure that my form is very educational so that when you leave the form, there's no question in there. I
I
think
think putting your face in more videos,
you're right. You're correct.
so
Getting my face out there,
increasing.
more relationship so you know what to expect and who to
Uh-huh.
expect it from.
Let's do it for sugar cookie marketing. So I would say for bakers who have switched over to a monetization, so bakers who sell target items, sugar cookie marketing is the Facebook group. I'm going to put us in that category
Sure.
that has no nonsense marketing for the baker who needs an efficient, effective answer.
I agree with that. I think that
Right.
is the positioning there.
I think the depositioning is people are like, they're too strict and they delete everything. But I think in
Sure.
exchange, you're not bullied. You don't have to worry. You can post something and not be afraid that someone's going to call you dumb or use a laugh react.
Well, just like, with Whole Foods, if I want a Coca-Cola, I'm not going to be able to go to Whole Foods to get it. Sugar cookie marketing, if you want to complain about clients, you're not going to be able to go there and get that. But what you are going to be getting from Whole Foods is something with no GMO and no artificial flavors. And what you're going to get from sugar cookie marketing is a direct answer to the question that you have at hand. So
I'm
it
in.
is okay to lose people.
Oh yeah. That's the whole point is you can, if you appeal to everybody, you appeal to nobody. If your friends to
Sure.
all, your friends to none. That's the whole thing, right? If
Yeah.
I'm everything to everyone, I'm actually nothing to anyone because there's no way that can be true. So there's something you're hiding and nobody likes to purchase
Agreed.
or befriend a distrustful person.
Yeah.
So when you say, okay, I'm going to niche it down, which we always say, niche thrice, name your price, right? So you're going to niche it down. And within that niche, I'm going to be very consistent in my product offering. People know exactly what to expect.
Yeah.
So you see that somebody's like, hey, where can I find this cutter? You know that one comment right there and the comments are off is going to say, hey, can you go ask that in baking with sugar cookie marketing? Why? Because the audience we targeted years ago said, can we not have a group that does everything and as such does nothing?
Yeah,
So
sure.
can it just be about marketing, sales, business, packaging, printing, strategy? Can it
Yeah.
not be about cookie cutters, icing, mixing, Butterbleed? So we said, okay, and that niched it down. And now to honor that differentiation, it's a very strict policy. I don't think it's like a rude policy, but it's like, hey, let's keep this on target so that people, when they come here, they get their answer.
Yeah. What's so funny about positioning is I've positioned myself. I enjoy birthday orders. I enjoy the themes that are surround birthday orders. I enjoy the fun colors of birthday orders. So I get a lot of birthday orders. And in my marketing, I showcase a lot of birthday orders. But now I feel like if I was trying to be like, well, I never get wedding orders anymore, I have pigeonholed myself by one, always showcasing birthday orders, by always doing birthday orders, by posting about birthday orders. People will bypass me for wedding orders because it's not something I position myself. It's not the first thing they think of when someone says, I am having a wedding shower and I need a baker for it. They're zooming right over me because I've just been posting fun stuff. So you see how your marketing can affect your positioning to your clients. Because if I really wanted to change it, let's say I want to change and I want to be the wedding baker for Northern Virginia, I would have to stop posting in positioning to people that I like birthday orders.
Well, Corey should go then sign up for wedding venues. You know, the wedding, what do you call them when you go to and it's like a convention and you sell your wares?
Vendors, events.
Yeah, like a vendor event. Corey should go to a wedding vendor event. Her cover photo, her marketing should push wedding content, and then she should see how many brides she can get to leave reviews, or how she can get in there, or strategic partnerships with photographers who do wedding
Yeah.
photography, or people who do floral for the weddings. That's how I would do that. And then I'd have a profile on the knot. My website would
Yeah.
be very wedding focused. My colors, my branding would tend more towards the whites.
Yeah. You have a lot of bakers like me who, if you order a wedding set, I'll take the wedding set. If you order the birthday, I'll do the birthday anniversary. I'm going to say yes to everything because at the end of the day, as we like to say, money is money. So you'll have to figure out what is now since you are a jack of all trades,
Mm-hmm.
what is your positioning to your audience that, what is going to make them what comes to mind when they think of you if you say yes to everything, if you are a jack of all trades. A lot of bakers can focus on last minute orders, maybe because they're newer, they aren't as well established, and they can be the last minute, last order taker baker. That rhymed. And that's how I started mine. And I was the last order taker baker. And then as I filled up, I hit a head where I had to turn people away. And they're like, whoa, I thought she was an order taker. Do you see where people are like, whoa, I thought Amazon was 2-day shipping and they're not.
Yeah,
And then
repositioning is always a pain point because
yeah,
you have so much mental real estate that you're trying to shift over to a completely different thing. And I think it's just what happens, nature of competition. When somebody
yeah,
is cheaper and faster and more last minute than you, it's not a place that you always say marketing is never stagnant. If something goes up, something also must go down.
yeah.
It works
There's
in.
a local baker to us here. She's super nice. She moved her business and changed her business to only making mini cookies. So she only does minis. She'll do them in any theme that you want to, but she only makes minis. So that was her. If you wanted something small, a sweet treat to accentuate something bigger, she was your go-to baker. And I thought that was pretty genius to do it that way. So now her price is cheaper because they're smaller cookies.
Smart though. If somebody's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I'm not here for a good time. I'm here for a good time, not for a long time." If I'm here for a gift and I don't really care the size,
Yeah.
that would be a very price conscious. I would. So the way to think about this entire podcast is, what do your clients think about you? Focus, girl. So what do your clients think? Again, we can't mind control hasn't been delved out to the masses yet. So if I can't control their minds, what do they likely think? Remember, I was late to that meeting 3 times, but I
Yeah.
was forever known as the late person. Darn it. Took me 15 non-lates. Actually took me 15 earlies to get that out of her head.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. So you got to wonder, and it's something we might not ever know the answer to because, unless you're super chummy with your clients, you can't be like, "Hey, what do you think when you think about me?" You know, but it's something you can control on your end because do you promise them that, the cookies are fresh and then you're giving them fresh cookies? Okay, probably in their brain, you're a fresh cookie baker.
Yeah. In our family, your positioning is don't approach Corey with cookie orders. She wants to take what she wants. So don't ask.
And I've been trying to deposition that and
Okay.
say there's a
I
form
I have
that
placed an order.
everybody has to fill
I
out.
have placed an order. I control the form. I'll squeeze mine in. Remember, I
Yeah.
went to get to that real estate lady.
And yes, and there is a form. Just kidding.
So it's just interesting to see what the minds of your clients think about you. We can say, here's the branding, here's the messaging, here's the value proposition, here's all these buzzwords, here's
Yeah.
list segmentation. But what do they think about you? Because that dictates a lot. And if you're like, well, I don't know that they think anything. Okay, what do you want them to think? And
Yeah.
what would shift in all of those other things to make that the messaging?
I know. And I even think that's something for me to even consider, even though I love marketing and marketing is the funnest part of the business for me. I don't know what my customers necessarily can, like, if I asked five different ones, I don't know what five of the different things would say. Would three of them land on the same thing? Maybe I hope she's approachable. She seems fun. She seems nice. She's consistent. And, I can only hope that, but I don't know that.
I think you say I just really like making really cute designs, really
I
cute
do.
sets. And that little bluey one you sent me this morning was a very, again, I think people, I would think naturally about that. Like, I feel like your talent, I don't know, keep staying in the lines,
I
the
think
cleanliness of the
clean
designs,
designs.
clean designs. Yeah. And then the cute styling is probably
Yeah.
what I would think about most.
Oh, I
Not
appreciate
necessarily
that.
friendly, approachable. Um,
That's because you know me and we argued before the podcast.
I was going to say something, but I just slipped my mind. Oh yeah. Corey and I had said once last year, we want when anybody, even if they took a break from baking for 2 years and they came back to the sugar cookie marketing group, even in their first click, I want them to be able to learn something.
Yeah.
I want them to be able to ask a question and get an answer or click a button and learn something new. So that was our positioning, is that it's consistent marketing content over a long period of time.
Yeah. So you're going to be able to find maybe a post where we do how much do you charge for this? And you're able to scroll through and be like, oh, I think I'm undercharging for a paint your own palette and cookie. So that's something that you can learn. So no matter what you do, you're going to be able to come in, come out, and you're going to always be like, I can always go to SEM for either a quality answer or to learn where the market, the industry is going. And I
And I
think
think
we've done
our,
a very good job for that.
well, thank you. You have done a great job as well.
Patting you on the
Two
back.
thumbs away. Yeah, I think the podcast being around for 5 years and almost every topic has been about marketing is staying consistent with how I want people to think of sugar cookie marketing in their head. Every newsletter has a marketing topic. Not every post, sometimes I make them funny, but that's to increase engagement so that when you ask your question, you get more of an answer from a larger group of people that are engaged in the group. And then I hope the third differentiator that you think is, and then no one will be mean to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I like when people say this nicest corner on the internet. That really tells me
By
that we're
force.
doing, yeah.
Nice or else.
So, as you're a baker listening to this podcast, you're going to want to ask yourself, and if you don't know the answer, you're like me. Thank you. We're together in this. What are people thinking about you and your business? Is there something that is drawing people to you? Do you have nice bathrooms in your gas station? Are you really nice when people ask for a chicken sandwich?
Are you very consistently open?
Hmm.
There's positioning where I'd say, well, I'm just not sure that they're taking orders right now. They take big
Yeah.
breaks. It's hard to, big breaks is the equivalent of me being late to that meeting a few times. where I'm like,
Yeah, where you're not now people are second guessing. I don't know. She took my order last year. I don't know if she's still doing it.
yeah, yeah. So think of the way that you interface with your clients. If you're very like self-centered, if you're very like me, egotistical, it's going to be harder to see outside of yourself because you're gonna be like, I'm the best. Of course they want to come to me. But try to put the other shoe on and see how you interface. What are the averages of the emails you're getting from clients? What are the averages of the reviews you're seeing? Are you seeing very few reviews? Then maybe there is a little gap in the market there,
Hmm.
right? The egotistical market. Maybe there's something, a blind spot that you're not seeing. So reverse engineer that, see what you think your clients think of you, maybe pull some distant friends that are willing to give it to you straight but also aren't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something for me to think about. And since Heather's thought about it, I'm like, am I just a blasé person? This year, I've told Heather in my own marketing, I've been trying to build relationships first. And to build a relationship, they have to know me. And that's something I'm not technically good at because I'm more of a private person. I like to put things out there. But man, I have been pushing
And
my
that was your,
boundaries.
if you listen to last week's podcast, which is posting do's and donuts, we went through Corey's highest performing post in the February. I think that was when you were
Yeah.
testing some posting content types, and that most highest performing bucket was relationship marketing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Corey said, well, I'm really private. Well, your positioning is probably not that you are a wide open, personable person. And now you're trying to shift that. And that's going to take time and
Time
consistency.
in, time in. And it's so funny. I saw someone comment to someone else, hey, thanks for recommending Mixing Bowl. And then the lady says, did you know she's an LEO wife? And I was like, oh, that's so funny. That was something I typically don't, ever push. Say my husband's, in law enforcement, but it was a way that she associated me with cookies and was able to recommend me.
I like it. So
Oh, yeah.
again, think of positioning this week. Just think of the position. If you don't want to think about your own positioning, because it feels a little like, I don't know, those little pie in the sky girls. I don't really know. Think of where you order things. Why do you pick Papa John's over Pizza Hut? Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's, right? Why do
Less
you pick,
greasy.
why did you pick that gas station? Are you more price driven? Gas is expensive. That
Is
cheap gas station is on my mind.
Is it the location? A lot of this, especially for where we are, we choose things because based on location. I know a lot of people choose me just because of the area I am at. I try to hawk my wares in a group of Haymarket people, and it's about 40 minutes down the road. And she's like, "Yeah, that's too far." Like, so location was big for her.
Right. If you're allowed to deliver, delivery could allow you to be
Yeah.
positioning as like, hey, this baker is really flexible because they're willing to show up to my job, which I
Um,
think we
Bakers
also
who take under the amount of a dozen, like a lot of bakers require 2 dozen. If you were to able to take orders less than 2 dozen, I know I do 1 dozen or up, but it's some people that take even fewer than that, half dozen. You could get clients just because of the fact that you offer smaller scale.
so then the positioning in your client's head would be this person is flexible on order totals.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yes.
just something like it's just another component of marketing to think it as a whole umbrella. If we just focused on branding, but nobody saw it, what's the point of branding? If we just focused on customer service, but you have a crappy product, nobody's buying it, we don't need customer
Right.
service, right? If
Yeah.
we just focus, but positioning, I think, is kind of that equal sign. If all of these components are added together equals, what do my clients think about me? I think it's kind of that last thing that can go back and realign the other components of it. Make sense?
Yeah. And I think being true with yourself on this, a lot of us going to be like a really tasty cookie. I've never met a baker who said, my cookies taste disgusting, but they look cute. Like, so being honest with yourself is going to be a huge part of knowing if what you're doing is working. If you're like, I create a consistent product every single time, like that is a generic form, and I see a lot of bakers spit that out. But can you say, like, through the entire process, I'm consistent?
Well,
Is
better
there
question.
any?
Can you get your clients to think that you're
Yes.
consistent? The key of positioning is client mental real estate, consumer
Yeah.
real estate. What do they think? You can tell me all day long. Quince can tell me we're better, faster, stronger, cheaper. But if I do not think that, then they didn't position correctly.
Correct. Something for us to think about.
Corey said, I'll be taking this into my week.
I shall, I shall, I shall.
Moving on, we have the pre-sale Cookie College Boot Camp is coming now. Corey has assigned me my roles in this. You have me writing templates for email follow-up because
Mhm.
pre-sales are based on selling the product before you bake it. So you'll bake one, you'll shop it around to your audience, you'll sell X number, whether you want to set that or have it to be an endless thing. But the reminders of getting people to show up at this pickup date are integral in a successful pre-sale. And we'll talk about building the form she's got me assigned to, and then we'll talk about follow-up marketing through email, and then may add a messaging component, an SEM component there.
Nice. Nice.
So that will drop April 1st through 3rd. Now, you can purchase it right now. It's $13. You can go to thecookiecollege.com. All the enroll now buttons will take you to that course. You can purchase it today and you don't have to worry about it. And on April 1st, we'll send you an email that the course has dropped. You can join the private Facebook group and then you get that $13 discount code to sign up for the Cookie College, which just gets you all your money back. But that code, the $13 discount, lasts forever for as long as your membership is active. So if you want to nail pre-sales, but you're like, oh, I really wish I got those other two boot camps we dropped, which is in-person cookie classes, and then you did photography. This is our third one, pre-sales. If you sign up for this and then join the Cookie College, you can get those past pre-sales. That said, now on the Cookie College website, you can purchase those past boot camps individually.
You said past pre-sales and
I
then
know.
you changed
I said in my head, did I say past pre-sales? Did I just muddle my messaging?
You muddled the message. The
Did
message
my
was
message,
muddled.
did I just deposition myself?
You are depositioned yourself as a smart twin to the dumb twin.
So April pre-sales is April 1st. That's in 15 days. May, I'm doing a 3D printing course from start to finish. We'll go to bamboo.com together. We'll order ourselves the right printer. I'll tell you everything you need to order to get started the cheapest way possible. And then through that course, which will be 2 days, then we'll make the design a cookie cutter. We'll purchase an STL, and then we'll also use Fusion 360 to make a bridge.
I will say Heather came in handsy. I had a 3D printer emergency this week.
All right, I got a Snapchat video and it's saying we got a problem. We get problem. And she's like, the filament said it's not loaded into the spool or the print head or whatever.
Yeah, extruder.
Extruder. So I said to Corey, listen, we got to do this through a phone call. I can't just be doing these single photos. And then we got it. So what had happened was her filament got too moisturized.
Moisturized.
Filament PLA doesn't like moisture and it causes it to splinter. And it's so funny if you go to these 3D printing subreddits or Facebook groups, you'll see that when the moisture has fully, like people have left a roll not, stored correctly, and they've just left it out to the elements, and you open it and it'll just be shattered pieces of filament, unusable.
Here's the thing, but it's the machine right now. How am I going to store that differently? It's ready
Yeah.
to go for a print.
Which is the difference is these ones that come in the casings, you can actually
Oh.
have it dehydrate your filament. You can press a button and put your rolls in there and it'll kind of suck it.
You
I
got
keep
time
those little, I don't want to say it's called decanters, but like those pockets of pearls,
Yes,
little things that come in
that
humidity
absorb.
pockets. Yeah, yeah. When you buy the AMS add-on, you can put the four in there. You can shove those. They have places for you to put those to keep moisture out of your rolls. So essentially, after you're done, you should be storing your roll.
Wait, you're supposed to unhook the filament when you're done?
Yeah, they have filament storage containers and everything.
So you have to squeeze that up the tube every single time?
It's a single button to press in a bamboo printer, but yes, you would just
No,
say,
mine had to shove it up the tube, yeah, till he swampled it all the way, and then he was ready.
because yours is broken, but you would just, just wind it backwards and it would just, the automated one winds itself back up. So don't know what you guys are doing, but in that 3D printing course, we will set up a bamboo printer. I went up for Corey. She's been printing feverishly.
Feverishly.
And then we will load a filament into the extruder head and warm up the heat bed.
The heat bed. Yeah, when that thing started printing and nothing was squeezing out,
Always
I
a little
said,
panic. Always a
well,
little panic.
shoot. I said I might have to throw the whole thing away.
Always a little panic. And I get a desperate call from Corey saying, hey, can I get out? I was like, she must need this cutter a lot.
Yeah, I was like, the lady was coming over to see what the cutter was because she ordered a custom design behind against my better judgment. And I was like, well, shoot, she's coming over and I don't even have it. It like barely even squampled out some squishiness.
Yeah, with these bamboos, and My prints are perfect, so I haven't had to deal with this. But you can do a like a step loss. Like if it stops mid print because there's an issue, you
Yeah.
can tell it, hey, pick up where you left off, bud.
Oh, funny, funny.
Ender can never. Ender can never. So that course will be in 7 weeks. That'll be on May 7th. So we're trying to keep them to the first week of each month in the last 2 or 3 days. So April 1st pre-sales, May 7th is 3D printing, and Corey and I are arguing over June.
Yep. Yeah. Well,
But
all
if you
right.
missed a past boot camp, you can now purchase that. The only thing that doesn't come with it is the Cookie College discount code, which expires, but just sign up for a new boot camp. You can grab that code and join us and never have to pay for another boot camp again.
What I can't wait to hear is as these boot camps go. So I've done the food one, I'm doing the pre-sale one. Heather's did
You did the food one?
the food photography one. We kind of did the cookie classes together, but you took the head on that one, and then you'll take the head on the 3D printing. I wonder who's going to be the people's favorite teacher. Like what
Speaking of choosing your favorite twin.
teaching styles will they like the most? I unfortunately have an over an explainer.
Unfair to you, to me, is that I am your camera holder and you're not mine.
Yeah, no, you could put that on a tripod and stand with me if you wanted to, baby girl. Baby girl.
Are you gonna edit it?
Baby girl.
Good. So if you guys want to check out these boot camps, go to thecookiecollege.com. I think they're really nicely set up. Worksheets, you get the modules that are pre-recorded, you get the launch Facebook Live and the closing live Q&A, and then you're able to rewatch those now, no expiration.
I think the best part of the boot camp, it's being taught by people who are actually doing the thing. So
Yeah,
we
that's right,
teach
Corey.
classes, got a class coming up even on April 4th. Pre-sales, been doing them consistently since November.
3D
3D
printing. I've
printer.
taught 3D printing to my twin
So I think
successfully.
that's the differentiator. The value positioning is the twins are actually doing it as they're teaching you. So it's not just one thing I did 5 years ago and I'm trying to remember back because the markets are always changing. There's more bakers, the
Technology is
classes.
changing.
Yeah, for sure, for
What
sure.
worked in 3D printing 5 years ago, thank goodness doesn't work now.
I
Thank
know.
goodness.
I know.
Okay, moving on to the gossip column. I'm going to read this again, completely anonymous. If you want to message in the gossip column, I pinned it in the sugar cookie marketing group, but I could refresh it. I think I'll add it to the website here soon. I had my pre-sale this weekend for St. Patrick's Day, and I swear I counted, but when I did my final count, I must have gotten lazy. A lady ordered 5 cookie cards. They were $3 each, and I only included 4 in her bag. Thank goodness her husband counted in the car because I had the extra. I just thought I had overbaked, so I was able to slip it into his bag and apologize. He then went back through the entire bag because he wanted to really make sure everything was in there. I don't blame him. And I felt so bad, like the cookie thief, though I had all the supplies in my fridge. Anyways, keeping in the SEM in the back of my mind, I emailed the wife who had placed the order and I apologized about the issue, told her the crisis was averted, but offered her a discount on a future pre-sale order if I was quote unquote lucky, pun, enough to be able to earn her business again. If it was a big deal to him, I knew he could possibly make it a big deal to her when he was retelling the story. She sent the nicest email back and said she looked forward to ordering again and loved the designs. I'm so glad I swallowed my pride and emailed her before he got home. I think I may have saved the relationship and hopefully have a future customer for my next presale. Not gossip, but I love a happy ending.
Dare I say that Baker fixed the positioning that the husband could have overlaid to the wife?
So in my head, her positioning was makes wrong things right quickly.
Yes. But if she had not, then it would have been the husband's like, can you believe I drove all this way and this lady was going to stiff me on this cookie that you paid for?
Yeah, as a not husband myself, I would have been like, wifey, look, I saved the day. And I would have
Yeah.
been like, this evil baker tried to ruin your day and I'm the savior. Now give me a smooch. That would have been me. So yeah, no, I like this staying in front of problems. It sucks though.
Oh, it's hard.
I was reading in another group anonymously. I was reading and the baker had scheduled a pre-sale pickup for a certain time. Like it was a wide range. It was like 12 to 7 p.m. So the lady shows up at 12. But she was like, but I didn't have her order baked yet. So she just asked her, just give me some time, just give me a few minutes, I'll get it baked. But the lady's like, I just want a refund. But she was like, but just give me 4 minutes. So the baker was like, I don't want to give her the refund because I
I,
did
s-
bake the product.
I did happen upon this thing too. The baker thinks she was correct in saying that it was a 12:30 to 7 o'clock pickup. So your order would have been ready any time within there. But
I'm
the
just,
I know, but the customer said, no, when you said 12:30 to 7, everything was ready at 12:30 and I have until 7 to pick it up.
How could you have translated that another way?
I honestly think the baker was having issues with the bake or whatever, that the stuff wasn't rising correctly and it was
Right.
throwing her off. So I think she was able to reposition it in her brain to say, it was ready within the time frame, 12:30 to 7. It just wasn't ready at 12:30. So that
Like
was a
overwhelming.
miscommunication, not enough communication. And then she was suffering for it because she didn't want to refund it, but the lady did not want the product anymore.
And the lady had left. She literally went home, didn't follow up till the next day. Like she never got the product either. That was a
Yeah.
big key thing. I think sometimes when product exchanges hands, it blurs the line of like, I don't think they should get their money back. I was reading on Reddit yesterday. It was just wild. Of course, Reddit's anonymous, and it was in the subreddit for like legal advice. They had ordered from, I think it was like an Indian restaurant. This is again not local to me. I don't know who these people are. They had ordered this massive order. I think it was $4,500, and it involved all these meats. And then the owner calls and was like, that person who took your order, they just help us sometimes, but didn't realize that this is actually a $20,000 order. So instead of 4,500, we need you to come up to 7,500. But the person was like, no, because like I wouldn't have bought it from you in the first place. And the event's so close now, they'd already
Oh,
paid.
wow.
Everything was there. So the owner of the restaurant was like, okay. So they end up back at 4,500, but they altered the amount of food. So they cut out one of the like, it's those big legs of meat and then you can cut from.
Yes. Yeah.
They cut one of those out, like the chicken one or something. But when they got the order, they had like the rice, those silver pan things that you do when you get
Yes.
like things. So
Yeah.
it had like one chicken leg in it. So like the owner of the restaurant had cut the entire order and only provided, but because this was the issue of the legal advice and why they're asking a question, they had to serve it because they needed to give these people something, but everyone had to leave the event early to go get more food. There was just not enough food for 350 people. And
Wow.
they said the legal thing is because they served the food, they no longer had a legal recourse. Now it's like a civil suit or something.
But I say that you got to feed them something.
I know. So it's when that product exchanges hands. But in the example of the one that you and I were snooping on,
Yeah.
is the product hadn't exchanged hands. So it would have been a full refund for me.
That's why the comments were
Full
divided. But
refund.
why wouldn't you give a refund? She does not have the thing in her hand. And then some people are like, I see where you're coming from, and you should have like communicated that, but you did bake it for her, and now you have like whatever these two things sitting in your house that you're not going to eat because you eat it all the time.
Here's what I would have done. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Let me deliver to you as soon as it's done.
Yeah.
If I didn't want a refund, that would have been the best choice of
What
action.
is that on
That
your
is,
head?
there's the air's so dry up here and then there are hills. I had to use a hair mask and I didn't use my drying clarifying shampoo. I'm really fighting a battle. So there's not a lot of product in my hair because I needed to see where the problem was. And then I use that Olaplex oil. So maybe
And
that's
do you see
Olaplex
where
oil.
your problem is? Where's your problem?
Drying
Look how big
product.
your bump is now. Look at the side view. You have a bump it in there.
Look, there's no hair here.
Yeah, it's a hole.
Sorry, guys. I'm fidgeting with my hair on the table. Okay, so that is the gossip. And yeah, I guess Corey and I were reading our own gossips.
Yeah, I
Last
know.
week
I
we had
did.
the gossip of that one customer that lambasted the baker who we thought kind of did the repair, offered full refund, baked for the anniversary, just asked till Monday,
Yeah.
even set expectation response. But that is a gossip column. Guas.
Yeah.
Upcoming collabs. Okay, so the AI cookie collab is this Friday, which today is Tuesday. Yesterday, I sent out my copy help templates, and I had this thought. Some people just hate AI and within your audience. So you may do this collab, which the positioning of this collab is, hey, when my customers send me AI, I can still incorporate it.
Yeah.
But you're going to have people who have positioned AI as evil in your comment section, and they're just going to lambast the fact that there's even an AI generated image, right? So in the copy template help, I also help you to deposition. All we're going to do is say, thank you so much. I love the feedback. Great thoughts on this, right? So we don't want to engage. We don't want to argue, and we don't want to validate because we don't want our comment section to turn into turf war.
You know
Uh,
what? I found a baker had posted I don't think necessarily Eddie and printed cookies are controversial anymore, but she made a controversial statement on the thing. Like a hot take, I don't think it's cheating when you use Eddie to help you print cookies. So the comments were both for Eddie and against Eddie. And on the comments that were against it, she wrote the best, most generic response. And I think that we should use that if you experience that. That's fair.
Because it
That's
validates them.
fair. Yeah,
What
that's
you
fair.
have to kind of understand is people's projection is based on an experience that they had that we may not have had. If I live next to an AI data center and it was blowing that, I would hate it too. And I'd be in the comment section just hating on it, right?
Yeah.
So that is unique to them. They're missing what this AI collab is. And it was taking this AI generated bunny, Easter bunny, and you recreate it within your skill set to say, hey, when you send me something that's almost impossible to pipe, here's how I can try to attempt to recreate that. Same
Yeah.
with the whole like, I don't do character cookies, but I do the likeness of. So it's kind of like that. So maybe like I can't do this AI. A lot of that AI stuff is like, stuff is icing is floating. Like, we can't possibly do it. So we took this bunny and then you recreate it within your own skill set. So if you go through the event listing in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group, it's the top pinned comment there. If you've registered, you'll get an email to you as well. But it has copy templates with the caption is to kind of mitigate that whole like I hate AI argument.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
if you love it, if you hate it, I'm still receiving it as inspo, and it does help me design your set. So here's how I can incorporate that.
Yeah.
And then I have some comment replies for if you get some AI hate.
Yeah. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. I appreciate your opinion. Thanks for the comment.
And what you don't want to do is be like, I hate AI too, but you're doing a collab. And what you also don't want to do is like, AI's great and you're just an idiot. It's just not the
Yeah.
time or the place for that argument. And then you should be able to get a bunch of bakers who are participating saying, very cool, I like how you recreated this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that will kind of steer the comments in the way they need to go,
now,
regardless.
question, when you post on Friday, Corey sent
Yeah.
me her pictures. Are you going to post a carousel of like yours? And I would encourage people, and I wrote it in the template copy, is like I would definitely have the inspo photo there because that's kind of the point of it. Here's what I
Yes.
was sent, here's what I can do. If you just say, here's what I can do, I think we're kind of missing what that
Well,
means.
I was thinking of making a collage and having it in the same photo together so you could see them one next to the other so you kind of understood it versus just seeing an AI photo and not clicking around to see what was next. So if you did a carousel, they'd have to scroll. If you did a collage, it's one singular photo, so they would be able to imbibe what the concept was right then and there.
I guess the benefit of the carousel is that both images would take up the full screen. But the
Yes.
detractor of the carousel is it requires somebody to swipe. If you took the AI generated one and said and wrote text on the image that says swipe
Yeah.
right to see how I
Oh,
recreated
yeah,
this,
yeah, yeah.
that's a decent idea. But I probably would do what Corey does and do a split screen in the single image.
Here's the
Doo-doo.
thing. I have three exact cookies that I've done that someone has sent me AI for that I have translated into a cookie. So I thought I could do all three of those. So it'd kind of give them a little bit more to feast
I
upon.
would love to look at that personally.
Okay. Okay. I will have to locate all that.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. I think
Thank
one
you.
is a spaghetti boot. If I remember.
Yeah, one is an owl, and then we have this bunny.
So that AI Cookie Collab is in 3 days. It's on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're going to post. You're going to use the hashtag SCM Collab AI. It's going to be all one word. And then if you go to the event listing, I can help you with copy templates. I already got them pinned there. You just fill in the information with your own. In April, on April 17th, we have Pipe a Park collab. I like that one. You're going to pipe a flower cookie and take it to a local park. And the copy that day when we have the collab is going to be telling your local audience about a park. I encourage people take that cookie and put it next to a part of the park that's identifiable that your audience will be like, hey, I've been there.
Like the sign on your way in.
Or the
Yeah.
lake or a statue that
Yeah.
might be there. Or if it's like rolling hills with horses, something where people are like, I have been there and I like to tell people I've been to this place.
Yeah.
So that one. And then May, we're going back to the Main Street. May, we're going to do the Main Street collab because it is the beginning of summer and I think it would be a high performer.
High performer. I want to say with the collab, we have a lot more people signed up for this AI collab. If they all show up, who knows? But if this is your first time doing it, we ask that people engage in the first hour. That's why it's important for you to set your alarm for 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time because that's when you're going to get the most juice. And that's when you're actually going to give the most juice. If you post at 8 p.m. at night, I'm so sorry, you're missing the point of the collab.
You
You'll
still,
reap the
yes,
benefits of it for sure, but
you
you're
reap
gonna
the
miss.
benefits from your audience.
Yes, you're gonna miss the zhuzh, the boost, the comments, and getting your post out in social media. So that's why I think the most when people come back to the group, my post didn't get a lot. You need to make sure you have the hashtag within the caption. You need to make sure that you're posting roughly near 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Which you can schedule, so no excuses.
Yes. And I have been known to schedule mine and then I'll go in there and start commenting. I do have to refresh because Instagram is weirder now with hashtags than it used to be. So sometimes I'll have to refresh and go back into it. A safe way to do this is if they've commented on your post, you should go comment back on theirs because they are obviously finding you through the collab. And that's a great way to go back and make sure you've checked all your boxes.
I like it. I like it. If you use AI in this collab, I will ban you from future collabs because that would be the opposite of the point of this. The point of this is making AI into reality, not using AI on AI. AI.
We did say it was appropriate if you printed,
Yeah,
if
if
you
you
had
want
an
to push
edible printer.
Eddie, which is a
Yeah.
strategy. Remember, all the collabs to try to push marketing. So if you want to say like, hey, well, I can't really pipe this, we can print this. And you could, because I see a lot of STL shops
Yeah.
pushing
I've
generation.
actually had to turn a client down on a potential order. What she wanted was a astronaut flamingo. And I said, this is so cute. It is way too difficult for me to hand pipe. So I might not be the better baker for you, but I have this option where I could print it. And that was a way to transform that. So that's
You
a
did it
whole
because I've
marketing.
seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. She said, yes. Thank you.
Very nice. Save the sale. Upcoming events. What's Popping Con is in 4 weeks. It's April 16th. You can use code TWINS for $25 off. Cookie Con is in 14 weeks. I think they've already dropped the add-on classes as well. And I think Gwed, the Vendy Blendy, is in 36 weeks.
How dare you? How dare.
Upcoming holidays. St. Patrick's Day. I see Corey's wearing green. Can't pinch
I
her.
did. I did.
I don't own green. I checked my whole closet. Don't got it.
I wore it just in case because I had to go and give some cookies to my husband's coworker, but I saw his
That
other
was
coworker.
going to pinch you?
I said I didn't want to be at risk for a pinch if I didn't need to.
Yeah. Well, I hated going to school and that we had to wear uniforms, so there was no green. But I'm
Yeah.
trying, and you couldn't wear wristbands either, so it was always like,
You
please
weren't
don't.
allowed to wear colorful nail polish. That was
No, yeah.
out.
So there was just wide open for the pinching.
We would put a green line of marker on our
Oh
thumb.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it was. April Fool's Day is 2 weeks. Not a big seller. I might remove it from my countdown. Easter is in 3 weeks. It shows up on April 5th this year. So we should be knee deep in the Easter waters. Are you doing an
Oh,
Easter pre-sale?
I have already started, girl.
Oh
The money
yeah.
is rolling in.
Yeah,
Money is
updated your
rolling
link tree.
in.
Teacher Appreciation Week, kind of a decent seller for people. That's 7 weeks away. Nurse Appreciation Week, not as much of a seller as it was at the beginning of COVID when we were really frontline working. Mother's Day, Corey says not a big seller. Other people beg to disagree. That's in 8 weeks. So if you haven't ordered your cutters, now is the time. Unless you have a 3D printer, then you could just print
Oh,
them.
true. Yeah. Yeah,
And then
girl.
graduation asterisk, different for different areas, is in 12 weeks, which is another big school seller.
I already have my graduation orders rolling in.
Really?
Rolling
At
in
12
there.
weeks.
Yeah, they're I have two that came in. What's so funny was one lady was like, I see that your form isn't open for May. Can I make my order? And I said, yeah, at the time it wasn't open, but it had opened since then and someone took her week. But then yesterday she emailed, it's like, okay, yeah, I want to take it. But I want to be like, girl, February
All right,
15th is
girl.
when I told you yes.
Sorry, girl. We're flexible in positioning here. You took the order, didn't you?
I haven't responded.
Uh, she'll be taking the order. Good point. And moving on to the STL Me About It segment. If you text in to 571-556-5644, you could win a month of Cookie Design Lab. I owe two people emails for the Cookie Design Lab. I'm so sorry. I just
You
remembered. I'll get
do it. You said it last
woe
week.
is me, forgiveth me because I have sinned. However, Corey, we have 3 texts today.
I think last one I've chosen. I think I'll choose number three. I think the last two I've chosen one and two.
602 area code, which I Googled, was Arizona. I have a question about customer service. I had an order that needed shipping allowed in my state. The customer ordered priority shipping, which wasn't cheap at all. I told her the expected delivery time, and I added that there wasn't much I could do to control FedEx other than dropping off the box. Weather does what weather does, and I assumed it was a cause of the package delay. Of course, the box arrives after the party, which the cookies are branded for the party, so there's nothing the client could really do with them either. And there's no insurance claim here because everything arrived just later than I thought. She's miffed. I'm upset. FedEx. Do I do anything for the client? Do I just say I'm sorry? What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know.
That is
I
a nobody was wrong, but it was
It
wrong.
comes down to communication. And what was the communication before it went out? What is your guarantees and your non-guarantees? Did you express to her that, hey, this might not arrive in time once it leaves my hands?
It sounds like it. However, the client still didn't get. So when everything you did everything right and the answer was still wrong,
Well,
is there's a point there, and I know we're big on like refunds and customer service. Weirdly, I do not feel called to a refund for this.
I had a client yesterday. She's paid and everything. She's been on my books for months, and she needs to pick up the order on Thursday. I was middle of her order yesterday, and she messaged me that the child has RSV and the whole birthday is now not a birthday.
Oh,
And so thank goodness she said, I just wondered if they freeze well, which I know she was being polite.
because she wanted to know she could get out of it,
But
technically.
she couldn't because I was literally halfway through it,
Right.
nothing on my side. So I was like, yeah, they actually freeze really well.
What if she said, I want to cancel? Well, then you have to go back to your policies,
Yeah.
make the
Yes.
policies the bad guy. So in this case, hopefully, Arizona, the policies are the bad guy. If you did everything right and you set the expectations that once it leaves your hands, which is what they said, once it leaves my hands, it leaves my hands, you know, it's just that wasn't within their control and they made it, they were explicit. Now I'd say possibly this go back. You can't go back in time. So future orders, I would say if someone says, I need these shipped, priority,
Yeah.
which means they need them by a very specific date, you'll have to say, hey, listen, I needed this order about a week ago, or put it
Yes.
somewhere. If you need them priority shipped, we want to get them out. Here's how you'll freeze them when they arrive early.
Yeah. One
Like
thing I do
you do.
is no matter if someone orders from me 5 months ago or 1 week ago, I always send a 1 week pre-pickup email. And that's just to establish because once I had someone who went into labor early. So the baby shower was no longer because the baby now existed in the world. So then I learned from that. Let me make sure that I always email one out before I start prepping anything. So my hands have not done 1 ounce of work for their order. And I will allow someone to cancel if something has happened within that 1 week. So one lady, I don't know how she knew her kids were going to be sick on Saturday, but she said they were going to be sick on Saturday. And I said, hey, I don't normally do this, but because you have told me before I have done anything right now, I will allow you out of this order because I have not started.
I agree that that's an easy place to bend the rules because you're not out anything,
Yeah.
okay, the time and getting the order secured or
And
whatever.
you won't the problem is I see bakers be like, well, I could have taken an order if they weren't there.
Fair.
In the grocery store worker, if they didn't drop the eggs, it would have had more eggs to sell.
Right.
There's going to be things that happen.
That one I see a lot of people say, well, it's a non-refundable deposit. And then I'll see in the comment section of another group, people are like, but you didn't bake it. So you're not out
Yeah.
ingredients, you're not out time. Technically, you're out a little bit of time, but I would say the customer service ability there is the least risk for you because there's not a lot of time
Sure,
cost
sure.
associated with bending that rule
Yeah.
and letting that person out. Because here's the thing, you always have like, somebody's sick, which is a bummer. But then you have like travesty where somebody has passed away or
Yes.
the mother was having issues with the delivery where you're
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I'll bend the rule there because that one. But at the end of it, we can bend the rules multiple places. When, of course, this situation is completely different
I
because we have
know.
product rendered, set expectations. It wasn't even in the fault of the baker. The client's out these cookies because they can't necessarily use them, but the product and service were provided within the expectations
I
set.
guess you could say that they could file a claim with FedEx.
No, no claim because the product was delivered and it was broken. So there's no claim either.
But can you say if FedEx, and I'm not good at shipping because I never ship anything. Can you say to FedEx, it didn't arrive in time? Like you promised it would be here and it did not get there?
I wonder.
Can you get the insurance part?
Can you file a claim with FedEx for late delivery? I'm not the first person to ask. You can. you can file a claim. So maybe that one. Money back guarantee applies to many, but not all services like express or international. If the package is at least a day late. So possibly that is an option. Good thought. So I would
Something
try
like
that
that.
then.
Yeah, because then if you got your money back,
Then
that would
you
be a
could give
little
it.
bit,
I mean, if you
yes.
got your money back, give the client their money back. Now everyone's happy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But let's
If you
say
get your money back, give the client nothing. Screw that.
keep it all, keep their money, keep that money, be a billionaire.
New business model. Let's ship everything late. We never have to fake again. Another text message in, not a winner, but first in my heart, Albany, New York. Hi, twins. I sell custom cupcakes, cakes, and brownies. You've talked about funnels before, and if I want orders now, I need a shorter funnel. If I post on Instagram or Facebook and tell people to click the link above my website, this way that they see I'm legit, know what I offer, it gets them to me fast. But then to order, I tell them on the website to email me to discuss their custom cupcake or cake order. And once we're on the same page, then I send them the Square invoice to pay me in full to reserve my time. Should I have just told them in my social media or marketing campaigns to email me to start and skip the website because that's the shortest funnel? I'm not sure if you can just add an email as a link to social media sites that don't have a click and pay for product on my website. Well, I do for classes, but not for food. Can you advise me if my current funnel is good or not? Hopefully, Corey picked my number hard, or Heather kept reading through all my questions. Thanks for the great advice and the genuineness you share. You're all a breath of fresh air.
That's so
Uh,
sweet.
so the question is funnel. Funnel is from when the client discovers to you to when they place their order. How long does that take? And on the internet, it's typically seen as clicks.
Hmm.
So let's say I opened Instagram. So I tapped my phone one time. I saw this post. I clicked expand on the caption that tells me to click to the profile. So I click again. Now in the profile, it says click the link in my bio, which likely takes me to a link tree, if not directly. But let's say if it takes me to a link tree, now I have to click on the website. On the website, I have to click down to find custom cakes and click on there to realize it's telling me I have to send an email. So I have to go to Gmail and click again, type the email, a lot of clicks, and click send. Now we have to go back and forth quite a few times. I'm clicking, 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 and then I'm sent an invoice, my final click. Okay.
Every click is the chance to lose a customer.
Right. So she's saying, but I have this whole website. It makes people feel confident. However, she understands there's a lot of clicking, right? So let's now go through the funnel if we remove the website. So what we can do is actually eliminate the whole click to my profile because we don't need them to go there. We can have the caption actually say, email me. So you'd want your email to be very short. We could also have it in the bio as well. So you could give them two options. So they click to Instagram, they click expand on the caption right there. They see the email
Yeah.
address. Or you can say, or go to my bio and click there, which a link tree you can do. It's called a mail to tag, which you can do mail to colon in the email address. And it should automatically open to the default sender on that application.
The
Then we go
issue,
back.
issue. An email is not clickable.
No,
It
that's
doesn't
why
just
you'd
open that
say,
up.
but we have an option to say, click the link in bio or email me at.
Yeah, you are saving them one singular click. Them not going to your website and finding your email is allowing them to have a shorter funnel. You are correct. And whatever caught their eye, probably caught their eye, and they don't necessarily need to say her about me section. They don't need to go through where you're located because they probably know. So you would bypass the website fully. It's good to have a website, but yes, you not allowing them to just click to the website to buy without even talking to you does cost you a little bit. But the
Here's my
fewer
thing.
clicks,
If you
yeah.
can still do both. You can leave the website link in bio and shorten it up. So if your link in bio is just your website, you could sign up for something like Linktree. Corey and I use an app called Shoreby, which allows you to have multiple links in your bio, technically.
Yeah.
I think if you have a business account, a lot of people are set to creator accounts on Instagram, but if you have a business one, you could have your email address in there, I think. Don't quote me on that. I know you can have your address. Like a direct click to message.
Let me see what
Uh,
mine is while you talk.
I think you're set to creator because you made me look it up the other day, but don't quote me. Creator has the benefit of more audio options. Okay. So we could have the email. We could do order at.
Email's right at the top.
Oh, very nice. So Shoreby, those link trees, we have but it's still an extra 2 clicks. So Corey could say, email me at hello@mixingbowlcookieco.com or click the link in bio. It would be hard for me to remember hello at. Okay, but I could and
Yeah.
eliminate having to go to the website. I don't see the point of them going to the website if it's just to show your brass and be like, hey, look at all else that I can do. But still, now you got to find another way to get to me. Yeah, I'd cut that out personally.
Yeah.
You still have your website, which is great, and you can use that in other forms of marketing. But for that call to action there, I would just have them get to that email as soon as possible for customs.
And I will say that I bypass my website and have them go to a jot form that I have, because that's the information I really need. If they want to peruse my website, they can, but that is an extra whole click that they have to now do 2 clicks. So I will bypass my website all the time. I still think websites are great as they have a ranking factor in places like Google. So you can show up and people could be clicking and you didn't even know they was clicking in the first place.
Websites are great for pre-sales. Websites kind of suck for customs. So when I go to Quince, right, if we're back on that, I just buy what I want, but nothing
Yeah.
that was that custom made for me. If it was, I'd expect the back and forth to dial
Yeah.
in the details. So good question. My personal take sounds like course is the same is shorten that funnel up. Don't send them to the website.
Shorten it,
Have
shorten
the
it.
option for the website, use a link tree, but that first link, have an email if that's where you know you're going to end up anyways, and
Yeah.
shorten that funnel for them. Last one, another New Yorker. What's the best way to deal with people who are holding up the rest of the cookie decorating class?
That is so me and Heather do have a little bit of an advantage because there's two of us. And when I see a slow one, I will go over and follow them closely myself, and I'll just stay over in that corner of the room. If you're working by yourself, Heather does a great thing where she memorizes people's names a little bit. And you can kind of tell who your problem child is going to be. So you can be like, Janice. Janice, just I want to catch you up here. I'm going to just show you the slide beforehand so you can see where we're at. And then maybe you kind of talk a little bit slower and explain a few more steps to get Janice right back on where Janice needs to be. Turns out when they're slow in one step, they're typically slower in all the additional steps. You'd want to focus on the majority of the class, and then maybe you can just whisper to Janice, hey, this is the next step. And that's why
Janice,
me
you're
and
slow
Heather,
and you're stuck.
yeah,
Don't
that's why
whisper
me
that
and
to you.
Heather actually have a few different ways that they can see the steps. So I actually bake a set and put them in those 3D things. And then now I'll set that in front of Janice.
Those
Janice, this is
display.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I see a slow goer, I'm gonna say, hey, the rest of the class, if you're not here yet, no sweat. The rest of the class, we're gonna move on to the next slide. Janice, let me know and I'll show you that other slide. Or printing out those playlists, give people a little reference points, little tiny card with all the steps in it. It's not like super advanced. It's better than having to print out the slide deck, which is like 50
Yes.
slides,
Ginormous.
40 slides. So yeah, I would kind of find your person and be like, hey, Janice, let me know and I'll scroll back. But with the rest of the class, we're going to move on. Hey guys, just so you know, we have 15 minutes left. I do like a countdown. It kind of speeds the Janices up a little bit.
Yeah, I will say that as a class gets to the end, you're no longer necessarily teaching so much because they know the drill that you can kind of walk around. You're going to be like, okay, class, here's the next step. And then maybe walk towards Janice and just look over Janice's shoulder and be like, Janice, what you're going to do next is this. And then you're going to do
Janice,
that.
what you're going to do is finish because I'm going to leave.
Janice, it's lunchtime. I'm hungry. I've got to go.
Janice, listen. That takes us to the text. If you guys want to text in and a chance to win a month of Cookie Design Lab, which is an STL software, that's pretty nifty. Corey uses it all the
I
time
used it
now.
this weekend. I'm
Uh,
proud of it.
571-556-5644 is the text in code for that. Sponsors, Cookie Design Lab code TWIN saves you 15% off if you didn't win this week. Baking Me Crazy code favorite twin takes you 10% off. I hope you guys all think of Heather when you type that. Bakety Bake code twins takes 10% off your order of twin. If you bought the 25-pound bag of Bakety Bake, could you text in, please?
And where are you storing that? Where is it in your home?
I think they put it in the child seat, restraint seat because it's
Yeah.
big enough to fit there. Oh, what's popping con is again in just a month. You can use code twins to save $25. Bosch Nutrimilk code sugar cookies saves you $20 and gives us $20. Everything else is an affiliate. That one's the only affiliate one. And last but not least, Primera, the Eddie, the direct-to-food printer. No code there. They don't run discounts, but we'll have Jennifer on the podcast later this month. Oh, wait,
And
for next month.
yeah, and she'll be talking about both Eddie and Freddie. Eduardo and Fredwardo will be on there.
Eduardo, it will be an interesting. I'd love from the mouth of babes to hear more about Primera, more about Jennifer, how they all work, how they got into this, whose bright idea was it to be like, hey, we print stuff, let's print on food.
Yeah, and hear the latest about Freddie, which I've not been able to witness in person quite yet.
I think someone said he'd be at CookieCon, but you can't buy them there. For some reason, you can't buy those machines at CookieCon, Freddie Ready, but you can place an order and they'll ship them.
Yeah,
I think
you
there's
wouldn't
like
want to be able to,
sales
you wouldn't
taxing.
want to be having to cart this in an
Yeah, no.
airplane.
Ab-
He'd be taking the
Absolutely.
seat next to you,
You'd have
Mr.
to buy
Eddie.
Eddie a seat.
Yeah.
Do you have a twin trust, Corey?
My twin trust. I had one and now it's kind of behoosed out of my brain. Do you have one?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I want to get into rug tufting, but I need now a rug tufting frame.
You
Uh,
have
you,
a frame,
you need to attach it to something. I have nothing to attach it to no more.
a table?
Move. Yeah, you need a table with a lip on it. However, they say you can start there, but you won't end there. You'll end up at a 2x4 configuration. So I was like, okay, not handy myself. Do I need the Ryobi nail gun? Do I need a tack strip? How do I get 2x4s from the Home Depot to my house?
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
get a truck.
Yeah, no. So I'm like, wow, the cost of just the thought of this is too high, and also the knowledge base isn't there. Etsy, I said Etsy, maybe. Yeah,
Yes.
somebody sells a pre-made 2x4 frame. All you do is just drill, you just screw in the
Oh,
screws.
nice.
Yeah, so I placed my order. So
Nice.
thank you, Etsy. Turns
How
out they
much did that set you right?
it was a large frame. It was 4x5.
That's
And those frames need
huge.
support legs, right? So they were like, you'll end up, if you want to make larger rugs or more like elaborate rugs. Yeah, I know I'm biting off more than I can chew earlier here, but I'd rather buy once, cry once, but
Listen, you're
whatever.
talking to a world of bakers, sugar cookie bakers who also bit off more than they could chew, and
Listen,
now we're
as I'm biting off
$50
more than I can chew actively, it was
million.
300, but includes tax strips, all the hardware. You just set it up.
Oh
Listen,
my
I
God.
cried. I cried as well. I cried as well. But it included the yarn guide. I want to tell you, I was going to, the other option for this podcast today was going to be it sucks to suck. Like it sucks to start something. You're
Oh,
just so bad at it. It makes your
yes.
like eyes water.
You've seen me start many of things, and I'm
I,
okay with the suck. I
my Google
embrace it.
Photos memory was your cloud cookies.
Oh yeah, they're all blowing.
Must have been 6 years ago today or something. It was a springy day where those clouds
One
were.
springy, cloudy, windy day.
Didn't we do a collab where you recreated one of your first cookies?
I did Bob the. Did I do Bob the
I
Blob?
don't know. No, I don't think you did.
He
Maybe
was blobbing about. I don't think I could have. His eyes were literally flowing off of him.
it was just bottle going on. So, anyways, I'm at the sucking to suck part, but we must continue for it. It's just part of the process. Part
It's
of the
it's
process.
it's part of the process. It is part of the process.
Yeah. My twin intellect was the Olaplexing. So I already covered that one.
You did.
Did I say
I
that?
guess
Kara
my
stops.
twin intellect one, if we did one, was yesterday at the gym. I felt like I was in the way. Technically, people can be in the way, but when you're in a place, you're not technically in the way. So I was telling my son who walks like this, he just looks
He
like two
tries to take a
shoulders.
small amount of space, but he's also 6 feet tall or something.
Yeah, two shoulders, they're so up and his head's way down. I said, you will be in the space that you're in, so you can either command it or you can shrink into it. So yesterday, everyone was moving around me, and I was literally standing waiting for Nate to do whatever he was doing on the little fly machine. But I felt like I was in the way, and then I felt myself trying to shrink down because I didn't know there's people whizzing by me, and Nate was like, "Just be where you are,
Huh?
just be where you are."
You can only, Ruth Ann, 86, turning 87. I've said 87 so many times, I think she's turning 89. Like, I don't know. She was like, if she's like, I always ask her, like, what's one thing you tell the whole world after 86 years on it? And she was like, nobody cares. Nobody
Yeah,
cares. What you think they care about you, they're too busy caring it about themselves. So they don't care. Like
yeah.
you are caring, you're making up that they care, which is a little egocentric when you think about it.
Well, I think a lot of people are like, everyone cares so much, but you don't realize that's so intro focused instead of being like, they're so busy about their own lives, they could care less about mine.
I used to be so worried that I had something in my teeth.
Yo, I remember you did this little.
Okay, I'm confessing, so I don't need a confessional. I'm telling him. I'm telling him I did it, so I don't need you to have
I
a
just want to
confession.
confirm that
I'm gonna cry about it later.
that's
When you had teeth this big, you gotta be worried about it, okay?
you,
These
these things are gonna show a peppercorn.
Yeah, I've never seen a peppercorn who didn't want a long extended stay here in this grill. So, but then you gotta say, like, we all have teethers and they all got stuff. And I'm like, it's one thing to be cognizant, but now I'm saying, like, hey, don't you think my teeth, that would have destroyed me. destroyed me if someone was like, yeah, you do. Ew, gross.
Oh yeah, I know. But then it would be like a non thing. Okay, my twin twist was, do you think that everyone has a doppelganger? Right now I'm talking to my doppelganger and it's Heather.
But
But
people think Anna Kendrick's.
oh, they definitely confuse you. This weekend, I had to do an about face, which is a military term for turning around, I believe. Because I walked into the gym and I swear I saw my ex-husband, which would be
Oh,
crazy
Corey,
because
no, I'm so sorry. Corey didn't do an about face. She did an about Snapchat immediately saying doesn't, and it really did look like him.
it honestly
What
took
did your
me
heart
aback.
rate do?
Oh, my little Apple Watch is like, are you already on the treadmill? No, girl, I just
I
walked
love
in.
how your ex-husband doesn't speak to you, but you think he'd drive down to choose
That's what it took me so back. He lives states away. I haven't even seen him myself in years. But to see what looked like his twin, they could have been twins, was
And he's
just,
not kind of like a blending. He's got a unique features. Like you wouldn't say, oh, that's him.
no,
But yeah,
no,
I'll agree. The Snapchat, I was like, that looks just like him.
it was honestly, I think it could be his twin. I think I could have been like, his name's Rick, is your name?
There's a
Mitch?
subreddit. Corey, did you?
Mitch.
Oh, I thought you said something else on the podcast. It's rated for
Mitchell.
families.
Richard and Mitchell. Rick and Mitch.
There's a subreddit for posting yourself and trying to find a doppelganger.
Oh, that's so funny. Honestly, I saw the guy again the next day and I was not taken aback, so my heart rate wasn't up, that I was able to stare at him like a creep. And it looked just like him, even from every.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like in the light it was different. You're like, no,
No. He
like
looked
double.
even more so like him.
Why,
Even
though?
my Nate, my now husband, was like, are you catching feels right now? And I said, no, it just looks just like him.
You know,
He's
it's
like,
kind
"It
of weird.
does."
Like your brain's like something eye separation, teeth, mouth form, how their hair is something about this. Your brain's like, we have files on this person.
Yeah, files, a whole file cabinet just is yanked
If
out.
Corey always said, if you ran into your ex, Rob, what would you do? And I was like, run out screaming.
Yeah, but you
Probably.
never know what you'd actually
You
do.
never
Because
know.
I was walking into the gym to sign in and I see this dude that looks like him.
You know, like in your head, it's like, this is what I tell him. Like, you absolutely wouldn't tell
No,
him
you
that.
would
You'd scream,
not.
run. Yeah, scream, run.
You're doing about face. Cause a scene. Leave.
Thank you for coming to today's podcast. If you run into your ex-husband, please text in to 571-565-6445.
Or if you have a doppelganger out there and someone has confused you for that, I would love to hear that story.
I had platinum blonde hair. My hair's
You did.
fried. Speaking of why I probably need more products today.
Yeah.
And a man came up to me and he's like, my wife, I don't want to do this. She thinks you're Lady Gaga. And I said, oh, that's so funny. I'm not. And he's like, she said you'd say that if you were Lady Gaga. I said, do you want me to sing? I mean, she's going to realize that. Okay, see you guys next week on the podcast.
Thank you for tuning